The person who needs no introduction, MinatosFlash, ladies and gentlemen.
Who? Okay, to be honest, we're recording this the second time and I did the exact same thing. I forgot to record my audio the first time, so little
Okay,
chud.
listen, I'm sorry. But anyways, we're just going to be looking at the community feedback section, or the submitted game feedback on the official Gekishin Squadra server, talking about things we would like to see and what we think about a lot of the just general feedback that people have given. But yeah, is there anything that you wanted to add before we go in and hop right into it?
I mean, I want to say just this stuff is really interesting in general, just to see kind of what the general player base is thinking about this, because even when you ask questions on Twitter, a lot of times it's going to be people who follow me or Mike or that person in general, and a lot of times they might share very similar kind of ideas about how the game should be. But this is kind of people submitting it directly to the devs without like, oh, I'm saying this because this person is going to look at it, or I'm saying this because I I already agree with this person and no one will like this. That can happen sometimes when it comes to looking at community feedback that you ask for. But when it's to the devs, it's kind of unfiltered, right? So this could be really interesting too. And there's also that character concepts that's available in this server. So I might look at that as Mike. Yeah, I'll become Mike. No, I'll look at that with Mike in a separate video and think that could be pretty cool too.
Yeah, because there are a couple people. I don't know when I would be able to find it, but there are people who like suggest like kit revamps or even just kit updates, and it, like, okay, here for example, right? Talking about like hits, nerfs, and things that they would like to see, or and other people just do like entire kit revamps for something like Baby that I've seen, for example, and we've discussed in previous videos, having the potential ability of possessing people before they're even dead to make it like a better mechanic, for example. And it always is nice to see things like that, because it would be nice to see some of those ideas implemented in one way or another. And again, I always tell people, like, try to submit your feedback as much as possible to this, because at the end, I do think that devs truly listen to the feedback here, because like a lot of the stuff, for example, that we've seen in the past with Zenny being a major issue, has been, some of it has been taken from like this feedback section in general, and I think that because people keep expressing that opinion over and over again, the devs are going to look at it and be like, okay, I think this is something that we do need to change, because a lot of the majority of the player base is discussing this. So I'm interested to see what this is going to be like after season 2, because last week I didn't do one, since we just got the developer letter, and a lot of the stuff that people were saying, remove cell juniors, all that stuff has been taken out. And again, another thing that was probably taken out because of the feedback, right? So
For sure.
it is going to be pretty nice to see. But let's go ahead and look at the first one. Please unlock the 90 and 120 FPS option on mobile. Some people like myself have gaming phones and can handle the higher frames. This game is almost unplayable at 60 since the frames decide to go down during crucial fights, and I have everything at low and my CPU at max. It's sad how unoptimized the game is. One thing, this I feel like is an issue even on PC, because wasn't Cherry talking about it, how when they
So
had their like frames set above like 140, that it was constantly lagging their game or something?
no, that's not what it was. Cherry's PC can handle that. What happened is I know there's something that most people don't even know about. It could be fixed already, I guess technically. I don't know for sure, but when we were testing out post a new patch, like any changes when the actual patch that dropped, we realized that when Cherry was, I think, above 140 FPS or 140 FPS, whichever setting they selected, World King doesn't activate properly. You actually have to enter the World King ring. So if you set down World King and you're already inside the area of effect, you don't get the buff. You have to actually exit, then enter World King, right? So on these higher FPS settings, there could be a bit of bugs going on regarding that. But just in general, I feel like, yeah, I could see like some certain phones on mobile having the options to go up to 120 FPS, but there has to be some sort of like just like reason that they're not unlocking that. I can't really say for sure, but I can understand why someone would want to have that more unlocked, especially if it like kind of hurts your gameplay by having it lower locked to 60 FPS instead.
I think on top of that, if they're talking about that it's unplayable at 60 since the frames decide to go down during crucial fights, I don't think that's an issue of having the frame rate locked to 60. I think it might just be because the game is still a little bit lacking in optimization in certain areas. Like, you and me have experienced it a lot. Our games have been crashing a lot more recently after these patches
Yeah, after
for
the
season
update.
2. So
Hmm.
I think it's just again just more growing pains of not only season 2 but just the game in general.
Yeah, I
But
do agree.
we'll have to see. Of course, it would be nice to just have the option to do 90 and 120 in the future, since the game is not heavy at all, and I don't think that in the future it'll be too heavy on games in or phones in general, because of how, you know, just powerful phones are getting these days as well. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. It's noteworthy that Super Saiyan Goku's hair in all previews of his alternate skins moves when rotating the horizontal axis of the screen, except for the hair in the preview of the Planet Yardarat outfit skin. That's interesting. I own the skin. I don't even know. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, me neither. It's just more of a visual issue rather than like, oh,
Yeah.
this is something that has to be urgently fixed about the game or patched, you know?
Another thing, too, that I should probably mention. There's also a submitted bug reports thing. So if you see issues like this as well, or even like how we were talking about with like the FPS dropping issue, I would also recommend probably submitting it to the bug reports, because I think you could actually, yeah, talk about like what platform you were on, what language you were playing, what time it happened, and everything, so they could try to see why exactly it happened. But again, just another nice thing that the server has. Make
Yeah, I
Gekishin
agree.
bursts actually something needed to be worked for. The buffers from getting hit should only deal around the first bar of a tower's HP. After that, players will have to commit to a full burst. It gets annoying really easily when you're trying to defend your tower, but can't because the enemy can just spam the move and easily chip off the tower. I don't think anyone likes chip damage, honestly. I think that it is something that does definitely need to be looked at, because it's just very annoying when you know that you're able to push off someone from tower, but because the tower is at like a fourth or a quarter of their HP, that the person can just walk in and just keep clicking 1, 2, 3 over and over again, or their abilities over and over again, and just doing that damage. Like it's a very dumb mechanic for sure.
No, I definitely agree with that to an extent, and I actually fully agreed with this take originally myself because I think it's just very like dissatisfying or like annoying from when you have like when your tower is basically like 30% dead. It's pretty much like a dead tower. They still need to make a push for it, of course, but it could very easily be chipped, and I think that's where they need to make some extra adjustments to how Gekishin burst works. But at the same time, if you couldn't chip anything at all, or like if you always had to full commit to a full burst, those last two towers, or like if you're on your very final tower and all four people are on that tower, like how to explain it, like if you're the enemy, or if you're like defending your tower and it's your last of the towers, while there's your enemy team with two other towers, like that enemy team will not ever be able to even touch your tower at all. And those matches are going to consistently get to Zeno because of the fact that all four people are going to be defending that one tower. And if you have to land a max burst off to even kill the tower, then it's not going to happen. And it can only open up a potential mistake to the winning team getting wiped, and then that tower is taken, right? I feel like chipping just has to be adjusted in terms of the damage it has, because even just like slightly chipping towers, especially when your skill levels are maxed out, could just do so much extra damage. It should be just like the difference between not maxing a Gekshin burst and maxing it should be wider. It should be the same when they're maxed out, but it should be a lower amount when it's not maxed out. And then like when it's actually maxed out, it's like a big, huge jump. Because as it is right now, does do quite a lot of damage, especially late game. But chipping has to exist, or else these matches will always go into Zeno, especially in higher play matches, right?
I think the idea that they gave was pretty interesting, of having it where only the first bar of tower can be chipped. But I would probably have it where instead of it just stopping at the first bar, it would probably go until the boss would be able to kill it. So you're able to chip as much as you want, and then it just like gets hard cut off unless you're doing like an actual Gekishin burst. Uh until the boss like does enough damage that it could just wipe it out like then and there. Because not only would it give priority to going for bosses in general, but it would also, I feel like, help a lot with the chipping issue. But I don't know, that's just me. That's probably how I would
I
make it,
feel
is just
like
to help with boss like
I would meet
priority.
half. I would meet halfway instead of a full burst, half a burst. If you don't get to at least halfway, then you have to actually. Then it does 0 damage, because the thing
Right.
is that as it is right now, one person could just go in and chip down a tower very easily, and that's why like the ratting meta is so huge right now, because people are just able to go in solo by themselves and like just do a bunch of chip damage to a tower. You could do like 20% of a tower even just as one player, just spamming all your skills. And then some people, some characters like Hit or Kid Gohan or Gotenks are able to escape, especially with the Android 16 buff that does give extra speed up. But if it was a thing where you have to do at least half of your Gekshin burst bar to actually do any damage to the tower, it could make ratting a lot harder to do, especially if someone's able to catch you at that tower. Because as is now, even if you're caught at the tower, you kind of can get away without any punishment, really.
Right.
Or just do a bunch of tower damage without any repercussions. Well, okay, now you can't really rat a tower by yourself as easily. You have to make a coordinated push with multiple team members, so that, hey, let's say, okay, instead of me just by myself as Gotenks riding, I go ahead and have an ally come with me, and then like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta uses his ultimate, and then I could actually get some tower damage in there compared to just being able to rat it by myself, right? So
Right. Yeah, it
things that's
definitely.
what I would change personally.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea for sure. If they do change shipping on, I'm curious to see how they would handle it. What's with all these restrictions? Allow players to go into training mode with any character, whether you own them or not, and allow 2 players to start a match in custom so that people can experiment. There's no point in locking all these features behind a paywall or lack of freedom for the players. This one I have like a strong agreement towards, because like the thing I definitely don't appreciate, I guess you could say, with this game compared to other MOBAs is other MOBAs will usually allow you to use characters that you don't own just in training mode so you can try them out and feel if you like the character at all before committing to buying that character. And now it's like you either have to wait for someone to make a showcase on that, or you have to just pay for the character. So locking it behind a paywall and just not making it where you can try them beforehand, I think is a very good choice to, or no, I'm sorry, I think it would be a very good choice to have it where you could actually test these characters out before having to pay for them, because there's no reason for that. And then the other thing about customs, yeah, like I don't understand why they have it where you have to have 8 people in the customs, rather than just being able to have like silly moments of like, oh, let's do a 3v3 where one person is every single role, you know, or like let's do an alt DPS game. Like I think that the custom things should also be updated as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the restriction for custom battles especially is just kind of weird. Now, when it comes to new characters, I also would agree that it is. I mean, in general, I think that with how they have new characters, I would argue that just take it a step further, new characters should be available for just like a large amount of Zenny. Like, you know, if you save up like a season or 2 worth of like 2 seasons worth of Zenny, you have enough to buy 1 new character. Like, and that sounds crazy, but at the same time, you know, if you're dedicated to the game, you are able to purchase a character for free, or you save all your Zenny for that specific character. I think that having an actual free way to get characters, because they're not gonna increase the amount of dragon gems you get. Like, I just don't know if that's gonna be really a thing. Would be very helpful, because while this, it is really nice that the characters are put into the star grade system 3 weeks after. The star grade system has a big issue with tier 1 right now. I know Mike talked about this in a video, and I was actually going to bring this up soon myself, because a lot of people have been bringing up my comments that I made about the kind of update when it came to the star grade system and how it looked like. So we'll definitely I'll follow that up on my channel too. I would say there should be some way to at least try the new characters. Whether it's like even if it's not try like a training mode, but like a trial mode where it's like, okay, this is the brand new character. Here's a trial. You could use them for 48 hours. If you like the character, you could purchase this character, or you could wait 3 weeks until they're available in the star upgrade system. Right, I think that would be okay too. Like, imagine a 48-hour trial for the new character. You could use them in all the different modes. It brings a lot of players to the game, especially if it's a very exciting character like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, or Broly's upcoming. And it's not long enough where it's like, okay, it's more so like you get them hooked to the game. And if they really do like the game and are invested into it, they're like, hey, I actually do like the gameplay. I think this is pretty fun. I'll go ahead and spend $5 to go ahead and get the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta that I like, right? But as it is right now, it's like, if you're not invested into the game, it's gonna be kind of less incentivized for people to hop in and be like, yeah, I'm gonna just hop in and spend money in the game instantly when I'm in E-rank lobbies and I just like don't know anything about the game, or I don't care about this type of game anyways, because Dragon Ball fans aren't really gonna be caring about MOBAs unless they're a hardcore Dragon Ball fan like myself, or have played multiple MOBAs in the past. Either way, I guess like when it comes to using them in training mode, I think that's fine as well, right? That's like a nice little meeting path, because I'm not sure if they're ever going to make these characters have like an actual trial or available with Zenny, right? But who knows? I think that the 24-hour thing would, or a 48-hour kind of trial period would be a good idea though.
Mm-hmm. I am kind of hopeful. I know you made a small points about it, but I am kind of hopeful about them giving more ways to be able to get dragon gems in the future, just because of how generous they were with the tournaments. Just participating in the tournament that is like 128 teams, 4 people per team, across 3 different servers. Every single person gets 250 gems. I think that is very, very good, just for participating in it. Not even like getting past round 1, 2, or 3, just showing up and winning or losing, you get 250 gems right off the get-go. I think that's awesome, and that makes me a bit hopeful that they will maybe either increase how many weekly gems you get, or just give more ways of getting dragon gems. But we'll have to see in terms of that. But I do like the trial system. I think it would be pretty cool if you just had the brand new character for 48 hours, or just something like that, to just trial them out. I submitted a support ticket with you guys because I need to unlink my Google Play Gekishin Squadra on my old phone, because I upgraded to a new phone, and I can't do that without a Gekishin Squadra support ticket intervention. But your support representative wants me to log into Gekishin Squadra on. Yeah, dude, the linking with Gekishin Squadra is just weird. I know a lot of people had it since like basically day one, and unfortunately, I think that's more of like a Bandai issue than a Gekishin Squadra issue. Because like that's what the account is after all, right? Is a Bandai account. But it is kind of sad to see that the support is still like that in a sense. Hopefully they change it though.
Hopefully you get a good response about that soon, or some fix to it.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed. Not much we can really say about that.
Right. And then here we go. This I talked about this in the Star Rank video, but we can just go ahead and go over it and get your perspective on this. The Star Rank system needs a complete redesign or removal before all free-to-play players leave. If the Star Rank system should stay, then it should reset every single season, just like badges. The reset of badges is complete rubbish and ranks. The placements of characters should be adjusted depending on the rarity of the new units, and old units should always stay. This way new players can still unlock the new characters, and old players can get 5k memory for each duplicate. Putting each new character out allows free-to-play players to get the new units from a moderate amount of gameplay each day. This way players actually get rewarded for playing the game, and everyone can access the new units eventually, and whales can still bully free-to-play players with early access. If star rank were to be removed, all Zenny should be used to buy new units and cosmetics, as long as the new units are accessible even if a higher Zenny price is required. This way players can easily save up for the characters they want the most, and it actually requires players to plan their Zenny usage. If nothing gets changed, this game will 100% end faster than Dragon Ball The Breakers.
This is a good point.
Mhm.
I would say the reset would be a good idea, because of the fact that there is, 3 of the, what's it called, like tier 1 kind of options available. Now the biggest issue is, of course, that one's at 109 and the other is at 119, I believe, so they're pretty far up there. And the thing is that even if we say it resets every time, like every season, the issue is that with how their star grade system works inherently, it's by upgrading characters. So someone who is going to be like, super high up with a lot of their characters upgraded, the cost to upgrade these characters and the memory requirement to upgrade these characters, that's essentially going to soft lock kind of a lot of people from being able to level up at a certain point, especially with either lack of Zenny or lack of kind of memory. And of course, we're able to get the extra memory specifically if it was reset, which would be good, but I think the lack of Zenny could be an issue for sure. I'm sure there's ways around it, but I think that is generally, like, depending on what they do with Zenny, it could be a good idea. But I would honestly say the best case scenario would be, again, like you said, with the Zenny issue or the Zenny suggestion, where new characters are purchasable with Zenny. I know a lot of mobile games just have like a free-to-play option to purchase characters, because Dragon Gems, of course, don't count. And I think, again, Stargrade is their idea for an alternative, but at the same time, I think just having like a large price of Zenny, like the new character is available for 50,000 Zenny, right? 50k Zenny or 70k Zenny or something like that, like a high price. I think that'd be a good idea personally. And you could have the star grade as a kind of option to the side of it. Another thing that sucks is people kind of last season were able to pick, like, Cell 6 or 18 or Hit as tier 1 characters, and then now it's a bit different where Super Saiyan 3 Goku's in there, and they moved one of the other characters down, right? Actually, I think Topo, Super Saiyan 3 and Gotenks are all in the tier 1 right now, right?
Yep, all of them. All three of them.
Yeah, that should be a thing where I think it should be a little bit different. Now, I think what's going to happen is Super Saiyan 3 Goku will move down to tier 2, and then I think Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta will be put in tier 1, and I think only the 3 most recent characters will be tier 1. But I don't know. I just, something has to be changed regarding that. And I think there's multiple ways you can just kind of have a change related to that happen.
It would also be nice if they just kind of revamped the system to not space out the characters as much, because if the star grade system had it where instead of getting a new character every 10 tiers, if it was something more around like 5 to 6 tiers, I don't think as many people would complain as much, especially because they spam so much characters for you to acquire at the start. Like, they literally have it where like the first 5 tiers gives you like 4 or 3 characters all for you to choose from, and then it goes to like every 2 to 3 tiers, and then it goes to like to every 5 tiers, and then it goes to every 10. Like, they have a nice system in place as well, where if you have every single hero tier and you like acquire them all, you can go ahead and move up to the next level. Like, for example, myself, I already had everyone from tier 3, so because of that, I was able to get Cell and acquire someone from tier 2. if they just had it where the people were more acquirable, then you know people would just be able to build up their accounts and they wouldn't have to worry about getting to tier 119 to be able to pick up Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, or sorry, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Gotenks, or Topo. Like, even if you were a new player and you just were able to get to, I think it's tier 39, or no, sorry, 31, to get one of those characters, you're still having to wait 100 tiers, or like 70 or 80 tiers, in order to get the next person. So even for a new account, this kind of sucks. And it's only going to continue to be worse as new people are added to that. Because who knows, maybe they'll just keep maybe they'll just keep Super Saiyan 3 Goku in tier 1, and it's all like 4 people in tier 1. Well, I hope not.
Yeah, we don't know for sure what they're gonna do. I don't think they're gonna do that because they would have probably kept like 18 hit and Cell there, but they're also not premium characters, right, in that way that the other ones were. I mean, they were 250 cost characters, but I don't know.
Yeah. Nerf Super Saiyan 3 Goku's Kamehameha damage, reduce how long it lasts, also increase the cooldown of his instant transmission. That's like that's exactly what I would say that he needs. I still can't believe they nerfed his initial hit but then buffed his damage over time. Like,
yeah, I don't know why they even like put the damage up at all. I think that was a bit silly. I would say Super Saiyan 3 Goku is not as impressive as he was though in season 1, just by the nature of how they buffed all these defensive cards, and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta exists. He's still a menace though, that's for sure. I think instant transmission is the biggest issue with him. They need to increase the cooldown for that in some way. The fact that the cooldown basically halves when you teleport to an enemy is also really dumb, because it just how do I explain it? You are benefited from, like, I understand why, because you could always see your allies all across the map, but you're only ever going to instant transmission when your allies have visual on the enemy and then you IT to the enemy. So I think with that in mind, it should be the opposite, where it should be the full, like, what, 32 seconds when you IT to an enemy, but if you IT to an ally, it does decrease the amount of time that you kind of IT with, but also still increase the cooldown by like 10 seconds on top of that, and I think that'd be okay. It's just way too good. And skill 2 discs still suck, so they should also slightly decrease the damage in general, like remove the extra damage that he has from the additional hits, and make skill to do a little bit more damage, and I think that would be pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, the Super Saiyan 3 Goku also fell off a lot just because of damage boost 1 being gone. He can still be a menace with Super Start though, but like I do think them removing skill boost 1 was also another reason why he kind of did fall off a lot. That being said,
I a lot, but like he did definitely, like, he's not like in contention for best in slot at this point, I think, is what I would say. Like, I would put, like, if I was gonna say best in slot characters that I would be at the top of my head, it would be Super Saiyan Goku, Diamond Goku, and the Gammas. You could, I mean, there's some people saying Bojack might be better than Super Saiyan 3 right now. I don't know if I would agree, but Bojack is really good too. So
yeah,
funny to say, actually.
Like I said, if they do nerf Super Saiyan 3 Goku's Kamehameha, I really do think that his second skill needs to be like adjusted in some way, because man, is it bad. It is.
Yeah.
Game need to change now. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, some things need to change. Yeah, I agree.
This one gets an upvote. When fighting the powerful foes, you should win by how much damage we did to the enemy and not who got the last hit. It's stupid when I spend the whole time fighting them, then someone comes in and somehow takes the last hit. It's so unfair.
I mean, I agree, but no, well, I actually don't agree with this, funny enough. So the thing is that this is where you need to, I think if you remove that, it just simplifies the game even more and plays into the snowball aspect of this game, where if you don't have to get the final hit, it gets to a situation where whoever's winning will automatically get the bosses anyways because they have higher levels, because they have more potential snowball stacks, because they're able to get a pick off because they're already at an advantage. And it leads to a situation where you don't have to even think about saving any potential secures for the boss, right? It comes into play where, okay, you actually will have a more of a fighting chance still, even if you lose the first or second interaction and you're a little bit behind in levels like 1 or 2, because of the fact that you could still secure 16 or even Nappa or especially like Jacko, right? And you will be able to have a little bit more of a fighting chance in team fights. But if you remove having to get the last hit, then I think it's just, you could just kind of spam all your skills there and not have to worry about anything or just like not even think. Whilst what it is like this, you need to think about, okay, this enemy team, this character is a secure character, we need to take care of them. Or, hey, I have a secure, let me make sure I save this and not just throw it out whenever I want without any repercussions. You need to actually think about what you're using in game, right? And I think that when you think about it at first, like, oh, I put in all this work to get boss and it is annoying, I lose the last hit. But that's gonna happen sometimes. And that's where you need to think about what could I have done to kind of get around that. And it could have been maybe picking off that character before you started boss or making sure you have the proper secures, right? And I think this is especially harder in solo queue. If you're solo queuing, then, you know, that's a little bit unfortunate. That might fall on your teammate who's a DPS that you don't even know. But that comes to an issue where communication in this game has to be buffed. And I don't think it's an issue with the core mechanic of the game itself, but rather the lack of communication you could have with other characters or allies on the team, right? But that's why I would actually disagree overall. But what do you think, Mike?
It would be nice if potentially one boss was like that. I don't think all of them should be adjusted to have that. Maybe Great Ape could like be added back to the game and have it where like whoever did the most damage is the one who gets that like that boss kill. But it's kind of like how you said, there is still a thinking aspect that you have to do and planning ahead for situations like that. Like if you know that the enemy has like a Piccolo who all he does is hide in the clouds, charge up his special beam, and the second that the boss gets to like a quarter of HP, he just spams the special beam to secure boss kill, then yeah, you have to think about, hey, what could I have done to stop that Piccolo? Should I have pushed up against him? Should I have had the tank go in and like Vegeta use his wall so that way he just gets pushed back? Should I have, as a DPS, gone in and just tried to kill the Piccolo while he's charging up the special beam? As a support character, could I have tried to stun the Piccolo out of charging the move in general? Like there's a lot of just things that you can do to stop those scenarios from happening. And it's like how you said too, there's just times where that one guy is just going to come in, Super Saiyan Goku's just going to come in, use his Meteor Hammer when the boss is at like 10 HP, and you're like, damn, I couldn't secure a boss, and that sucks. And now we lose not only the boss, but we also have that person get the buff on the whole team now. And yeah, it really does just hurt to have situations like that happen, but at the same time, it's just a nature of the game. It's something that has to happen. Would I like a boss that like you have to deal the most damage to? Sure. I just don't think it should be a majority of them.
I would say, along with that, it's you need to properly plan ahead for these bosses, and that's kind of like the biggest thing I think I really do like about it. And it also just like, okay, if it's just like whoever does the most damage to the enemy, it removes like, you know, what makes Piccolo viable, what makes Frieza viable. There's characters that will have to literally be adjusted just like from a entire gameplay design of how their entire kit works when it comes to that. And it's like, okay, you also need to think about adjusting, because I think it can get to a point where it's like, okay, this is where if this is changed, it's gonna get rid of you thinking about how you could adjust and actually improve at the game, rather than, oh, this makes it easier because I spam all my skills and I get the boss, right?
Mhm.
Not saying that that's like what this person is saying specifically, but this is something that you could, it leads to a point of opportunity where you could actually critically think and kind of expand like your different level of skill at the game, or a kind of understanding and a knowledge of the game, macro sense and things like that, rather than how it would be there. So that's why I like the way it is right now
Mhm.
overall. But eh, yeah, I could be very annoying if like someone comes in. But if it's like, okay, I I throw out my secure and the boss is only 10%, this is where, okay, I know now that I threw my spirit bomb or ultimate too early. Next time, let me adjust. Let me see. Oh, maybe I didn't have a snowball stack compared to last game. Oh, when my allies were dead with Super Saiyan Goku, so my spirit bomb did less damage. Which, keep in mind, your spirit bomb does more damage as if you're playing Goku and trying to secure boss, the less allies that are alive. So you got to keep that in consideration too.
Isn't it the more allies that are alive?
It does less damage the less allies alive.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's what I
I,
was saying. Sorry.
okay, I thought you said it backwards. No, no problem. But yeah, like I said, it all, you really just have to just plan around. Remove bots from ranked in next patch, or I'm quitting the game. This is true. I cannot.
I agree. I just would say, I mean, more people would be on the game and there would be less spots that would be needed if the star grade system or the how many characters are available to get like used are higher. But at the same time, I think bots in general are just not good at all, and it just becomes infuriating, especially if you're solo queuing. The solo queue experience in this game is pretty bad. And I think it's obviously going to, when team games like this, it's not going to be ever great, but I think it's really bad in this game right now, and they have to make some sort of adjustment in multiple different aspects of the game. So yeah.
Yeah, like I think it's frustrating no matter what. Like even if you have the same amount of bots on both sides, it just becomes a game of which bot is better. Because of course, if I have Krillin on my team as a bot and the enemy has a Majin Buu on the enemy team as a bot, the Buu is just gonna do better. Like it's so much easier to have a lot of this stuff pop off with Boo when it's just a CPU behind that versus like Krillin, who has to have like a lot more planning of like the mines and the blinding and all of that, versus I click one button and I heal my team. So regardless, I think bots should just be removed. It from ranked entirely. I'd rather wait like 10 to 20 minutes for a game than have to wait 1 minute and then I get matched up with bots immediately. Like it's just a silly thing. But yeah,
I would
and
also say one thing that could improve this is the fact that like ranked is like the definitive mode of the game. Like they really push you just like into ranked matches instantly, and they don't ever like talk about quick match or have incentivizes for doing quick match. I think that, you know, it being ranked kind of inherently gives this certain feeling about the game as well, where if it was, oh, you know, quick play was the main kind of mode of the game, or, you know, things like that, maybe people would just feel better, or more people would be on the game as well. I think that though in general, like bots are just very infuriating, so something has to be done regarding that in general, right? But that's
yeah,
just another thought I had about like the game and how it's like working right now.
like they could even add something for the non-ranked mode. Isn't just called quick play, like how you said. If
It's like quick match or something like that. Like I don't know
yeah,
what it's called.
for like doing the first match of the day, can you imagine if they just give you like 300 Zenny or something? And
Yeah.
then that's just like another just easy way to get Zenny. That would be an awesome thing, like an awesome
Or imagine like, okay,
implementation.
think about this. In Quick Battle, you get to use new characters.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Like if it was a ranked match, I mean, it'd be really funny if it's like, oh, it's you have to pay to rank up. But it's like, I think it would be kind of interesting if like Quick Battle you are able to use the new characters for free. But in ranked matches, you would have to have purchased them or something like that, or the cosmetics. I don't know. That'd be kind of. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't like that, but I think it would be cool to have the option
It'd
rather
be
than not
interesting.
have it.
I think for sure, just to have something like that available to people. Yeah. Please add a better camera zoom for mobile when you use long range skills, and change the semi-auto option to allow the use of skills without interrupting the auto basic attack. I think the camera in general should be just improved overall. Like,
Yeah.
for example, the camera on like console, when you
Controller.
use something, yeah, or controller, when you use like special beam cannon, and it's showing you how the special beam cannon is going to look for that, versus someone who's on computer who's only able to see right next to them without clicking like an additional button, I think is just absurd, right? Like that one camera option is just completely locked out unless you're using controller. But that could also improve for mobile in general too, for stuff like that. Like I think that some of the camera stuff just needs like an overhaul for how long these skills are, because if half my move is going off screen, I don't need to see my character. That's just my opinion. Like I think it should be like right.
I think it should
next
just zoom
to
out
them.
like it does in controller, but
Yeah.
I don't know why it doesn't.
It
It doesn't really
very
make
silly.
sense because it's like an option in game. So
Yeah. Oh gosh.
it was a big one.
Good afternoon. Oh dude, I know Sensei. This is a person who like gives some fire feedback, man. He always
Nice.
writes like these paragraphs, but man, he cooks with each one of them. Good afternoon. How are you? Finally, I would like to give my final feedback on the current state of the game. The matchmaking system is terrible. It's almost impossible to find a match. It takes 15-30 minutes to be paired with someone. You haven't implemented a solo or duo queue system. As requested several times in your feedback, you simply chose to keep this same lazy and poorly made system. I just to like kind of talk about this point before we keep going forward. At the end of this day, this game was not meant for a competitive mindset. It was made for like mobile, before it was then expanded to include console and then computers on top of that. So again, I think this is just a growing pain thing. I hope that they add something like this in the future, because a lot of other competitive games do that. But because this was supposed to be a casual game at the end of the day, I think that is probably another reason why it's just taking so long for them to have that. But
I would also say, like, this game in general is, we can even tell by the marketing, of course, 4v4. I think it is very much intended to be a game that you play with 2 to 3 to 4 people rather than solo queuing, although solo queuing is an option. I feel like, especially with just how lanes work, just like, you know, this game, I'm sure like other MOBAs as well, but you know, you have 2 to top lane, 2 to bottom lane. With that in mind, it's like, I think this game is intended for you, not only just like in a casual way, but you just hop on with a friend at 9, you play a couple of games. Like, it's not supposed to be something that should be like that, but that's where I also would say they do that, and then they make ranked the main mode, in a sense where, okay, you log into the game, ranked is the first one that's selected, rather than it being, you know, quick match is the first one that's selected. And then it's like rank is an optional mode that you can do as well, which if you're really hardcore at the game, you can go ahead and play ranked mode, but a lot of players will likely be on quick battle, right? Or give incentive to try some of these other game modes. It's just unfortunately not something that they're having in mind when it comes to this. And a lot of the like tournament aspects and things like that is more very heavily community based rather than the general direction they're taking this game in, right? So it's unfortunate, but they're not looking to make this game super competitive where it's like, okay, they have all these different types of queues and things like that. I do think though it's done that you could solo queue into someone that is running a full 4 stack with comms and things like that. So maybe there should be a separate solo queue, like kind of a solo queue, if that makes sense. But yeah.
The only other thing I would say is I in my head at least, this is not as big as a priority as other things, because other mechanics are pushing people away at a faster rate. The Star Collection system is probably the top of everyone's list right now, and I wouldn't even say like the solo or duo queue system is even top 3, because of the fact that of course it's going to take 15 to 30 minutes to pair up with someone. Guess what? Now that you have a solo and duo queue, that might take up from 30 minutes to 60 minutes to now have someone.
Because you're splitting the existing players
right
already in the game. So if queues are already taking longer, having 2 separate queues are going to split players even more. Unfortunately, where it's like, okay, they kind of need to get more players in the game in the first place, right? So that's what I think.
Yeah. But like I said, it's still, I do believe it should still be a thing. It's just that it's like, it's on the back burner is what I would say. It's of my mind. But I would like to see something like this in the future. You haven't even delivered half of what we asked for in the feedback, and there was still time. It's no use saying you didn't deliver. The feedback covered the beginning of season 0 to the end of season 1. The game remains the same for free-to-play players, and you need to understand that the free-to-play players will always be the majority of the audience. And if there's no audience for the game, what happens? It dies, right? In short, the game is dead in most regions. Only North America has a slightly larger number of players, all because of your terrible decisions for the game. Now,
I mean, I feel like this is being super negative because they are listening to a lot of our suggestions, and a lot of these things, you know, you'd be surprised at probably how much time goes into like these decisions and actually implementing them in game, getting them improved, or you know, things that they've never the things they're doing for this game they've never done in so many other games at launch, such as just this game having cross-platform in general, all the special costumes for different characters, all the decisions that they're making have been overall, I think, healthy for the game. That we kind of didn't expect a lot of these changes to be, and it just takes time. Unfortunately, like a lot of these changes we would like had to have sooner or be a bit better, but I feel like to say that it feels like they're not listening is not the truth. And on top of that, I don't think that because the game isn't necessarily in its best spot in our player base wise currently, doesn't mean that that can't be fixed in the future. Anniversary Super Vegito comes out and they've already made all these good changes that we would have liked to see. The game will grow, right? You know? So it depends. And I think this game has a lot of potential based on what the developers are doing and how they are listening, in my opinion, personally. So I think there's a little negative to say that kind of we didn't deliver even half of what people asked for in the feedback. There's so much feedback probably in this channel that it's just like impossible to kind of cover everything in that aspect, especially if they're looking for from all different types of like avenues. And we don't even know, like, this is the feedback channel, but I don't know if there's like any, how to explain it? Like, is this like feedback from all across the world, or is this just like the NA player feedback right here in this channel? Because
I don't know, because like they don't like, they have different ones for like looking for groups where you can look for different people depending on like what which server you're using, right? But I don't know if it actually has it where it's different languages as well for the this submitted feedback. I would probably say no. I don't think so, because I've seen...
Have you ever seen any JP feedback in here?
No.
Like in Japanese?
Nope.
No? So I assume, is there not like different servers for the different kind of
I don't think so, because again, let me just check the channel. Isn't there yeah, it says what region do you play from? Choose the one that's closest to you. Europe,
you only have
Latin America,
NA,
Asian,
so you might not have access to those channels because you
let me just click Asia then. Does it show something for it now? It's all the same feedback.
Well, I can't say for sure then. Either way, just click NA back. Get your
Yeah,
respect, buddy.
thank you. But I like adding on top of what you were saying. I do think that this is very like very wrong to say the least, because one of the major things that I saw a lot of times, like at least 10 per video, to the point where I had to just skip it, was Gold Cell Juniors. What did they do? They removed it. What was another big issue? AFK people who after a certain amount of time, they're just like, you know what? I'm going to stay in base. I don't want to play anymore. I'm just going to click A and S for the remainder of this match, because you guys failed the first interaction and therefore I'm done. They've implemented a new way that they're not sharing with us because they want to stop people from being able to exploit it. But they've made a new way to stop people from being able to do that and to stop people from going AFK. And again, that was another major one that people said over and over again.
They literally said that balance changes were only going to be at the start of every season, but now they're going to do it more periodically, which seems like it's like every 2 to 3 weeks compared to every 2 to 3 months, which is also another big change. They've added more heroes at the beginning. They've changed how much Zenny and hero memories you do earn. Like, there's a lot of these kind of feedback options that were left that they've given us in these developer letters that we've seen time and time again have been adjusted. Trial heroes, they added a bunch of different trial heroes that were available. It's just these things do take time, and they're not going to be something that's going to be very quickly seen, especially when it comes to some of these bigger issues or bigger things. I mean, them even just changing when characters are available in a Star Collection is a huge change as well, even though Star Collection itself could use an update. Making the character available basically 2 to 3 weeks after they release compared to the entire next season sequentially is a pretty big change in my opinion.
Yeah. Like, so
and we've seen that this feedback channel in general is the idea that they are looking at our feedback, right? And we've seen them make these changes. So just because it hasn't come now doesn't mean that it's never going to come, or they're not working on some way to at least meet halfway to that feedback. Because you also got to keep in mind, some of this feedback is just not going to be meeting what their general aim for the game is, but also like some feedback might just be too ambitious, right? So
yeah, and like it just takes time. I do think that you can't rush a lot of stuff, or else it's going to come out sloppily. On top of that, invest in marketing for the game. I can't stand seeing ads for other games with no potential anymore, and Gekishin doesn't even get an ad at all. Hire famous streamers and YouTubers from each region to show the game exists. A large percentage of people don't even know the game exists precisely because your marketing team is a bunch of incompetence. You need to fire those who don't want to work and hire those who do. The current situation of the game is precarious. I
get ads sometimes on TikTok for Gekishin.
I don't think I've seen a single one for Gekishin, but I get it all the time for Legends.
For Dokkan on Legends. Yeah, I can see Dokkan Legends and once in a while Gekishin. Gekishin definitely is the one that pops up the least amount. What I would say though is I think Dragon Ball games aren't good at marketing in general. And I do agree that they could be marketing their games in general better, because Dragon Ball games usually they market when something new comes out and then they leave it dry for like 2 to 3 weeks until the next new thing comes out. Then they push out a bunch of marketing for it again. So like, you know, when Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta came out, they made a bunch of, you know, different marketing posts and things like that, and they're like, oh, you know, players who do this amount of kind of thing on the game, we will give in-game rewards, things like that. I would also keep in mind that, I mean, based on what we're understanding generally, these teams aren't really, at least from my understanding, like big teams, right? We don't know how many people are on their team. I mean, a very long time ago, uh, apparently, like, you know, at least I saw on Twitter one time, it's like the Dokkan team was like 10 to 15 people or something like that. Like, there's probably not a lot of people working on this game like that, which is another thing to consider. Um, so with that in mind, whilst I would say it would be nice for these games to get extra ads, I'm not gonna say that they don't want to work, because there just might be not enough people to where, like, in the space to where they're focused on other things. If anything, this might be something closer to Bandai than the developers of the game, because Bandai is the one who should be marketing the game. The devs of the game are only working on developing the game. Does that make sense? Right? I think it's pretty clear with that. So putting this in this feedback here probably isn't going to do too much, but who knows?
You know what I would actually like to see is, in order to help the game grow, and something I don't think would be that hard of an implementation, especially because a lot of these accounts are now linked through the Bandai Namco ID, is having it where you can do missions for the all the different games and get rewards based on those like missions. So like, let's say that you're a person who plays Dokkan and Gekishin, for example. If you play for 30 minutes on Dokkan or complete a specific stage in Dokkan, then the rewards get transferred over to Gekishin Squadra, and then you can have like one of your badges be the Dokkan icon, or having it where if you play 30 minutes of Gekishin Squadra or 2 or 3 matches of Gekishin Squadra, maybe you get to have either the wallpaper for Dokkan or something like this might be a little bit ambitious, but a character would also be kind of cool. Will a character probably come? Probably not, but like just something small would even still be nice, you know. And something that I do think that like the games in general should just do more, since they have it, or like they have the Gekishin wallpaper that we were able to get during season 0 of the game. So they have it where both games acknowledge each other in that way, you know. But that's what I would like to think. Another thing to add on to, this is the first game from Dragon Ball that also has a creator program. So clearly they're trying to do new things, and all of this new things happening at once, there's gonna be, again, growing pains. And I've said that time and time and again, but genuinely, they're trying a new market with MOBAs. They are trying to balance those MOBAs, or balance this MOBA with all of the characters, which is taking some time and taking a lot of balance changes on top of that. They're trying to have this creator program that I was talking about. They're trying to implement the battle pass system that has not been in any of the other Dragon Ball games. Like, there's a lot of stuff that they have not done at all. So of course at the beginning there's gonna be a lot of problems, in my opinion. But it's something that I don't think, as the game continues to live on, that we'll have to worry about too much. But that's just my opinion, of course. Especially with how receptive they are. Like, again, how you were talking about it, they went from saying, oh, we're only gonna do one balance change every single season, to, okay, it's gonna be every 2 to 3 weeks. My bad, gang. Like, it's nice to see that they're listening as much as they are, because we know some other games that definitely do not listen as much as they should. We'll go and look at the last point, though. This may be the last season of the game, and I haven't seen any significant changes, especially for free-to-play players. Leaving the season 1 characters at level 31, 109, and 119 was a stupid decision. You haven't rewarded anyone who played the entire season, and do I need to mention the ranked rewards that haven't been delivered yet? That is also very true. I don't know where the ranked rewards are. Do I need to talk about the horrible ranked rewards that don't motivate people, or don't motivate anyone to play? Do I need to talk about the awful battle pass and the star collection system that don't work? look, as long as you guys keep making the same decisions, this game will only continue to sink into limbo. I mean,
yeah, I think Stargrade Collection does need an update. We talked about this, I think, extensively already, so there's not really much to say about that now.
yeah, I'm a big advocate for the battle pass also being changed as well, but again, as time goes on, I think that it's another thing that I don't think is like a top 3 issue as of right now. It's more of a me issue. I don't like the battle pass, but I would like it to change. But the rewards that they give inside of it are pretty decent, or decent enough that it's not something that should be entirely focused on right now, as much as like the star pass should be looked at.
Yeah.
Can a Switch 2 update be released, please? This game is great and fantastic. Oh, well, also we'll read like 2 more, and then we can go ahead and stop. I didn't even know this was already an hour.
I also need to record my Dokkan video because they dropped a hint like 15 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just burst through these ones. Can a Switch 2 update be released, please? This game is great and fantastic, and multi-platform with crossplay is fantastic. But the Switch 2 runs the Switch 1 version. The resolution is low, the frame rate is low, really bad for a brand new system selling so well. Would be great for fans to get an update. Very true. I think like it. That's also just another thing. Switch 2 is slowly getting more and more updates from these developers as well. Fall Guys was like a thing that I used to play on the Switch 2, and it wasn't until like 2 or 3 months after the Switch 2 came out did it finally have like its own Switch 2 update versus like the Switch 1. So I hope that it gets an update. I don't think there's really that much to talk about on that one though, but we'll go ahead and look at this last one. I'm getting an issue in playing ranked match because I'm getting bots in my team, and somehow in my opponent there are more than 1 to 2 real players. Due to this, it's ruining my points. I hope you will fix it and continuous. I am getting bots like in every match. This is true. Remove bots.
I also agree. Remove bots.
Oh, wait, the hit nerfs. But this is the last one for realsies then.
Oh yeah, nerf it for sure.
Yeah, thumbs up. Truth nuke.
I mean, those nerfs are generous. I would do more.
That's fair. I think the AoE for his ults needs to like genuinely be like gutted because it's so stupid how long range it is and for how long it lasts. I would rather have it where it just lasts for like a much shorter time. It should not last for as long as it is.
Yeah, I also agree. I just think it lasts way too long.
Tell me about it. We'll go ahead and stop there though. Thank you of course, Minatos, for joining us for the hour. Let me know what you guys have for your feedback down below. And as per usual, something I always implore you guys to do as well. If you have any feedback and there's only one place you want to put it, don't put it in my comments. I'd rather you put it inside of the submitted game feedback. Of course, I always like talking to you guys and seeing what your stuff is as well. But don't forget, they do have the game feedback section as well as how to go ahead and submit it in case you do want to do that. It's just, if you scroll all the way down, it is right above the voice channels that says feedback. Now, there's not only stuff for that, but also for submitting bug reports as well. So, as usual, make sure you do that because at the end of the day, I want this game to grow. I want this game to get better. And the only way we can have it get better is by talking about it. But thank you all for watching. Hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.